Today we're going to be taking a look at the Intel Arc Pro B50, and this might be one of the weirdest graphics cards I've ever tested. It's a tiny low-profile workstation GPU, it only uses around 70 watts, and it doesn't need an external power connector. And somehow, in the end, it has 16 gigs of VRAM. And on paper, this sounds pretty crazy. So today we're going to find out just how good this little GPU can game. And one thing to keep in mind, this graphics card was not designed for gaming, it was more so for workstation users and AI workloads. And it's hard to resist not testing a 16 gig low profile GPU, just to see if we can really push it and even reach that 16 gig limit. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the test bench specs. For the CPU, we're using the beautiful AMD Ryzen 9 7945HX, which is on the Zen 4 architecture, and features 16 cores, 32 threads, a base clock of 2.5 GHz, and it boosts all the way up to 5.4 GHz. And to pair with that CPU, we have 96 gigs of RAM, running at 5600 mega transfers, so plenty of RAM to go around for this machine. I don't know how beneficial it would be to have a bit faster memory, but I think this will do for the test that we're using it in today. Now finally, the GPU. Again, we're using the Intel Arc Pro B50. It packs 16 Xe cores, 16 ray tracing units, 128 XMX engines, 1700 MHz base clock, and it boosts all the way up to 2600 MHz. Again, it also features 16 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM. This GPU is an absolute beast on paper, considering everything that it comes with, and I only picked this up for about $370. For now, it's going a little bit higher and above $400, so do keep that in mind if you want to pick up one of these for yourself. Let me know down below in the comments if you are rocking an Intel GPU or if you plan on buying one in the near future. I'm super curious to know what you guys are using. So now let's go ahead and get straight into the benchmarks. The first game we'll be taking a look at is Forza Horizon 6, and do keep in mind all of these tests will be done at 1440p just to try and get the full utilization of VRAM out of this. And we use the Ultra Ray Tracing preset, and as you can see we're getting a very nice 30 FPS on average. And this was a totally playable experience. The gameplay you saw in the first little bit in some of the clips were actually at Ultra Ray Tracing, with me just driving around the map as you normally would. So it's an even better experience in-game, but the benchmark showed a pretty solid average. I wasn't sure how good Forza Horizon 6 was going to run on an Intel GPU, just because this is the first time I've ever tested one, and honestly I was quite surprised by just how well this little GPU did in this test. Next up we've got BeamNG at the high preset at again 1440p, and wow, did this game look absolutely stunning. May even look prettier than Forza Horizon 6, to be honest. It felt extremely smooth, flying around this jungle map. Now, honestly, I could have put this at Ultra and gotten around maybe 30 to 40 FPS, which is totally playable in a racing game, in my opinion, because we were not anywhere near that limit of 16 gigs of VRAM. We are hovering around 6 to about 7 gigs of VRAM being utilized, and we saw a very nice 52 FPS average for this map specifically. So yeah, BeamNG is a great experience on this little GPU. Next up we have Arc Raiders running at 1440p on the Epic preset. And this one honestly surprised me a ton. I expected to see a much better frame rate from Arc Raiders. I don't know if it's that we're using the Intel based GPUs, if they have issues. I haven't really dug into it too much. But we're only sitting around 1900 megahertz on the GPU, so for some reason I just felt like the GPU was not being fully utilized, unfortunately. I do have resizable bar on before anybody comes in and says that I need to have that turned on, so do keep that in mind. Even BeamNG was using about 1900 megahertz, but Forza Horizon 6 was sitting around 2200, so this GPU is definitely a little finicky so far from this testing. In the end, we're getting around an average of 35 FPS for Arc Raiders, which is still a totally playable experience for me, but this one still ended up surprising me quite a bit. Next up, we've got the newest LEGO Batman game running at the high preset at 1440p. Right off the bat, I noticed more VRAM usage from this game, hovering around 7.5 gigabytes all the way up to 8 gigabytes. The clock speed on this was also hovering around 2 GHz all the way up to 2.2 GHz, unlike in Arc Raiders where we were only seeing about 1800 to 1900. So yeah, this GPU is definitely all over the place, and I'm not sure if that's just how all Intel GPUs are, or specifically these weirder workstation GPUs. But last week we took a look at the RTX 5060, which had 8 gigs of VRAM, and we were playing at 1080p Ultra, and we were getting less frames than we are right now. So that is kind of interesting to see. Again, RTX 5060 definitely needed more VRAM, and this GPU just shows how much VRAM this game can actually use, even running at 1440p. It's just insane to see a LEGO game running at almost 8 gigs of VRAM in 2026. And this really proves the need for more VRAM and a lot of GPUs, because a lot of games are just using more and more VRAM. Next up, we have the beautiful Bannerlord 2, again running at 1440p on the very high preset. This game is definitely a little more CPU intensive, but is still way more GPU intensive. And we were seeing about 61 FPS on average, and that is a totally playable experience for Bannerlord. Now do keep in mind, as the battles get larger towards the end game and you're doing more sieges, you'll probably see anywhere from 40 to 50 FPS rather than this smooth 60 FPS. But this GPU is totally playable for Bannerlord if that is what you are wanting to play. Here we have Arma Reforger on the medium preset at 1440p. This is one of my favorite games to test. It just really puts a stress on the GPU. And as you can see, we're getting around 2200 megahertz, which still isn't anywhere near the max of 2600 megahertz, but honestly, I'll take it. At least it's not 1900 megahertz, and we're seeing anywhere from 6.6 gigs of memory used all the way up to 7 gigs of memory used. And we were getting an average of 30 FPS, and I feel like this is the only shooter title that I can really play at 30 FPS and still have a pretty good experience. So Arma Reforger is totally playable on the Intel Arc Pro B50. Now the only esports title we'll be testing with this is going to be Counter-Strike 2, which we have at 1280 by 960, all of the lowest settings possible. Oddly enough, this is the one game where we are seeing from 2400 megahertz all the way up to even 2600 megahertz. Maybe it has to do something with the thermal throttling on this GPU just to keep it cool, because on here we're only using about 50% utilization and we're getting that higher clock speed. And speaking of thermals, this GPU ran around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, which is a very good look for a low profile GPU especially. Now for Counter-Strike 2, it is a totally playable experience. If you want more frames, just get a higher Vcache CPU. Now for a bit older title, we have Red Dead Redemption 2 at the quality preset balanced, and it's more towards the high end of the balanced settings while still looking super pretty. And again, we were running this at 1440p. And wow, it looked absolutely amazing to play and felt super smooth. We saw an average of 47 FPS, even here in Saint Denis, causing a lot of chaos. The frame rate didn't really dip below even 40 once. I did test a couple older titles like Grand Theft Auto and some others, but I didn't include them. I just wanted to have this prettier looking game. But for the most part, these Intel GPUs ran super good even on the older titles. One thing I'd like to hear from you guys is the type of games you want to see benchmarked. If there's any newer titles you want to see or anything like that, let me know down below, or like comments that post other games that you want to see. Last but not least, we have Sandbox, again at 1440p and all of the highest settings. This was a super weird game to test. As you can see, we were currently frozen. We had tons of stutters on this, but we were looking at an above average 30 FPS most of the time. And we were playing on the newest construct, so not even that crazy of a map. And you can see there was tons of weird issues and artifacting within the game. And what you're seeing here isn't even the 15 minutes of gameplay I recorded before this, where we were only seeing 3 FPS. It was so stuttery, so horrible, and I was so close to giving up, and then all of a sudden it just started running at 30 FPS. But it still looked horrible, and there were so many weird graphical issues. This game is probably just pretty finicky with the Intel based graphics cards, but I've had issues with it in other GPUs, so do keep that in mind if you are wanting to play Sandbox with this GPU. In conclusion, the Intel Arc Pro B50 is definitely a pretty weird card and way more geared towards workstation and AI usage, but it can definitely pack quite a punch in some gaming. You could even use this at 1080p and see a lot higher FPS on a lot of these games, but if you're using that 16 gigs of VRAM, I would go with 1440p for this GPU. I feel like this GPU is specifically designed for a type of person who wants to primarily use it for work, AI, and do a little bit of gaming on the side, while keeping it in that smaller form factor. And the price that I picked it up for with 16 gigs of VRAM is significantly cheaper than the low profile options that Nvidia offers. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video, and keep an eye out for the RTX 3050 giveaway that I'll be doing here shortly. So, thank you guys. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one as well.